very first video today I'll be doing is how to choose and apply foundation. So there are a few points I'll be covering in this, like for first, how to choose a foundation. The very first thing you need to know about your own skin, whether it's dry, it's oily, it's normal to dry or normal to oily. Part is choosing the texture of your foundation. Now we have so many different kind of foundations in market, like cream foundations, stick foundations, powder foundations or mousses. And now if you have a dry skin, I would suggest you to go for cream foundations which has moisturizing or hydrating values. For the oily skin, I would suggest you to go for powder foundations or stick foundations because they have a mattifying value. So now after choosing the texture of the foundation, the second point is knowing your tone, the skin tones. I know you must have read a lot about warmer tones, cooler tones, neutral tones, and I'm sure it's a rocket science for beginners. You won't understand a single thing about it. Warmer skin, you have green veins. If you have cooler tones, you have blue. If you have neutral, you have blue and green mixture, which is not easy to understand. Now how to understand, as a very quick way I would say, what I personally use is, if you like silver, if you think that silver makeup is suiting you, that is your cooler silver makeup or silver jewelry suiting you, it means that if you are of cooler tones, and if you golden makeup or golden jewelry is suiting you, I would say that you are a warmer tone girl. Third thing which you have asked me so many times is how to choose your foundation online. Well, I would say if you're a beginner, never ever choose your foundations online because it's just a waste of money, because you cannot even a professional, you cannot make out the colors on screen because the pictures they have taken, the swatches they have taken is in a different light and you are totally different. So I would not suggest it. But if somebody is telling you or making a video on that you can just, on these points you can just buy it online, they are just bluffing. So I was searching through this on this topic, and there I find few sites like www.foundation.com, and there's another one is like Temptalia. These sites will provide you with, if you know your shade, like in MAC you know your shade, you can always put it in that box they have given, and then they will tell you about what shade you are in other brands, so that will be really easy for you. This is how to choose the perfect shade for your skin tone. So I know that most of you girls already know that swatching the shade in the back of your hand or inside of your hand is just incorrect way, which still the sales girls are doing. I don't know, get up the shades which you think are closer to your skin and start swatching on your jawline through to your neck. That is the way to select the closer shade for your skin. And I know that the shades to our neck and face are a little bit, there's always a difference, so I would suggest you to just pick it a color which is in between these two shades. Looking like a mini. The swatches which I did from different shades or from different brands. The first one you can see that's too light for me. The second one looks little darker. Third one look very dirty, which just makes my skin looks very dull and dirty. Other one is too pinky. Next one is too watery. I don't know, it's very light, but it is still closer. This color is still closer. But the last one, it's not even yellow, it's not even pink. It's a mixture of both the shades, which I prefer personally. I am in the natural light and you can see the swatches. The second one looks little better here in light, and the first shade which to apply your foundation. For that, the foremost thing is whether you have a dry skin, normal skin, oily skin, moisturizing and hydrating your face is must, because you will be using it just half an hour before you apply your foundations. Second step is using a primer. I know for beginners they don't know anything about primers, but I'm telling you girls, it's a must step. I don't have pores, much thicker skin, or I don't have much of problematic area, thank God. but still I always use a primer. MAC Cosmetics one, which is just amazing. I've used so many primers, but this looks really it has a very good finish, especially on my T-zone area and on my cheeks, which I think is generally people do is now after the primer they use their foundation, but what I do, I always use my translucent powder all over my face before I use any kind of foundation. I'm all over my skin with just very little hands, very light hands, before my foundation lasts longer than when I use it afterwards, because afterwards I always get cracks. So if you use it before foundation, and especially if you are having oily skin, that's really going to work for you, and the foundation will look more smoother, it will long last. For the tools of the trade, we have, most of you are like using your hands, but still if you want a full coverage, I would suggest you to please go and buy a foundation brush, if not a beauty blender. So brushes like we have stippling brush, we have a flat brush, so you can just go for a flat brush for just applying the foundation. I always use my flat brush and I just dab it, the foundation all over my face. For blending this, most of the people are using the stippling brush, but now that I'm so glued up with these beauty blenders also, which you can find it in easily, which is available, and they are not even expensive. But I personally use this beauty blender from YBP Cosmetics. Just wet it before you use it, and thoroughly wet it and squeeze it. There should not be any water in it. Afterwards, just start blending your foundation to your skin. With the very lighter hands once again. I take about 1 to 2 minutes to blend my foundations. Yes, the more you blend everything to your skin, the more lighter, the more coverage you will get. After blending your foundation to your skin, is what I always do is I use a wet tissue and I just wrap it around my finger and just dab it all over my skin so that the excess amount of foundation goes away. So this is my foundation routine which I personally follow. This video is going to help you, and if you have any questions or anything you want to ask, please write in the comment section below. And if you like it, and if you don't, do still just give me a thumbs up and subscription to my